Hi. Well, it's the 10th of January 2022 and I made a resolution this year that I would make this the last year I drive an ICE vehicle. And by the end of this year, by hook or by crook, I'm going to be driving an electric car. So a few days ago I pulled the trigger on an order for a Tesla Model 3 long range, and I'm making this video primarily not about the car because there are plenty of videos about the Tesla Model 3 and plenty of product reviews out there. But I don't live in a capital city. I live on the mid-north coast of New South Wales in Coffs Harbour, and for me that creates some uncertainty about how the car gets delivered and what shape it'll be in when I get it, and do I have to drive to Sydney to pick it up, and what happens with warranty claims and all of that stuff. So if you're in that situation where you're considering buying a Tesla and you don't live in a capital city in Australia and you're wondering what the experience is going to be like, well, you can walk the journey with me via this video and find out. So as I said, I ordered the car a few days ago. I got a call fairly quickly from a sales rep who's been assigned to my order. His name is Sam, and he's a very helpful fellow. And Sam told me the bad news about delivery times. So right now we're looking at a 16 to 20 week delivery window. So I'm going to have to wait for a while. I'm going to have to learn to be very patient, which is always hard for me when I'm getting a new car because I get excited about the whole concept of it, especially this one because it's not like any other car I've ever owned. So I'm going to have to be patient. And he said to me that he expects that it'll arrive in the end of April. It's now January, so I've got a few months to wait. And I thought I'd just make this starting point for this video now to give you the background. And after I got off the phone with Sam, I got to thinking, oh, that's interesting. I did ask him about the delivery because I said, have I got to go and pick this up in Sydney or what? And he said to me, no, if you live 250 kilometres from a capital city, then we will ship the car to you on a flatbed truck and it'll come to your door. So that was pretty good, pretty good news. It's better service than I've had from any dealership before. So I was quite pleased to hear that. But when I got off the phone, I then thought to myself, well, what if there are some defects in the car? Because I've read and seen a lot of videos about Teslas when they get delivered and they have various defects from the factory, badly fitting panels or imperfect paint or things like that. And they always say you should call those things out at the delivery centre before you drive away. But of course I can't do that because the car's being delivered to me. So I'm a little bit concerned about what happens if I actually find a defect, how I report it and how that gets fixed. And beyond that, obviously, then there's the question of, well, how do I deal with general repairs and servicing and roadside assistance? So there's a few questions in my mind there, and I'm going to try and talk to Sam again and get the answers to those questions. And when I do, I will add them into this video. And I'll also, obviously, on the day the car arrives, hopefully in April, I will finish this video off with a footage of the car being delivered and coming off the truck and me going around and inspecting it and looking for defects and just my first impressions of the car. Okay, so it's good news, at least I think it is, sounds like good news. I asked Sam the questions that were on my mind and he seemed to have reasonable answers for them. So the first thing I asked him about it was defects in the vehicle when it's delivered. What happens in that case? And the answer is that I have to take a photo of the defect and then I log into the app on my phone and attach the photo to the app, and that goes off to Tesla, and then they will contact me and make arrangements for it to be repaired. So if it's some sort of body defect or paint defect, they will send me off to a local authorised repairer for Teslas and they will fix the problem. So that's a defect situation. Then I asked him, well, what about servicing? How do I get the car serviced and where? And he said that Tesla's a very low maintenance vehicle. He reckons that I won't need any servicing for at least 2 years. And at that point, it may need an oil change and possibly a change of the HEPA filter inside the air conditioning unit, which he said I could probably do that myself. But with the oil change, again, it's take it to an authorised servicing mechanic workshop in my town. So in my case, I can take it to my car. My car used to be called Kmart Auto, and they're all over the place, and there's one in my town, so I'll probably take it there and get servicing done there. Now, the last thing that I asked him about was actually roadside assistance. So what happens if I break down or get a flat tyre? One thing to bear in mind with the Tesla Model 3, I think all Teslas actually, they don't have a spare tyre in the car. So that's a bit of a concern to me. In terms of roadside assistance, they have an arrangement with various service providers around the country. So it might be NRMA in my town, or it might be some other freelance service business, but they will contact them and get them to come out 24 hours a day. I can just log in or phone in to Tesla, and they'll organise someone to come and help me out. I'm reasonably happy with that, although I think with the tyre situation, I'm probably going to carry one of those pressure packed tins of tyre foam that you can squirt into the tyre and get yourself up and running in the short term, so I can get myself back, at least get myself back into town, and then take it to a tyre place and get it fixed there. So I'll probably just carry one of those in the car all the time, I think. But it's nice to know that they can cover the roadside assistance wherever it's needed around the country. At least that's what they say they can do. I won't, of course, know whether these things actually happen the way they say until something goes wrong. But I'm reasonably comfortable with the answers I've been given. Okay, well, that was all I had for today to ask them, and I've got the answers I needed. So the next time I see you, hopefully it'll be on delivery day when the car arrives, which, all things going to plan, it should be in April, and I'll check in with you then. Thanks. Hi, so here's my next instalment. Last time I spoke to you was early in the year, and I was told that my Tesla would arrive somewhere around the end of April. April came, April went, the delivery date was pushed out to June, July. June came, and there was a shutdown at the Shanghai factory due to COVID. They shut down absolutely everything in Shanghai. The Chinese were just all over this thing like a hair on a bear, and they just wouldn't let factories run. So Tesla consequently for probably 2 months didn't make a car. Finally we got past that, and here it is now August, and I'm finally looking down the barrel of receiving my car. So I'm pretty excited. I mean, hallelujah. If you remember back at the start, in January, I made a New Year's resolution that this would be the last year that I would drive a petrol vehicle, and that I was going to be in an electric car by the end of the year. I thought that was going to be a really easy timeline to meet, but I was starting to think this might go beyond the year. So I'm so excited that it's finally here. 8 months, well, you know, good things are worth waiting for, they say, and I am really excited about getting my Tesla Model 3, my long range. As I said, this video is not so much about the car, but more about the experience of someone ordering one when you're not in a capital city and what goes on there. The first thing I would say about it is you get far less communication from Tesla when you're in a region than you do when you're in the capital cities. So, for instance, if I was in Sydney, I would have been given initially an estimated delivery date way back when I placed the order, and sure, that delivery date would have slipped a couple of times, but I would have had automatic updates on that, and eventually it would turn into what they call a VDD, or vehicle delivery date, and so about a week out or a few days out from when you can pick the car up, they'll let you know that you go to the delivery centre in Sydney and pick your car up. When you're in the region, you don't get any delivery dates. You get a vague idea from your Tesla sales advisor. They will sort of say, oh yeah, finger in the air, I think it's probably going to be here in April. Of course, that turned out to be vastly wrong. And also, I had to keep chasing him. I was always having to text him and wait for him to finally come back to me with the latest information. And usually the information he came back with was next to useless. He could hardly tell me anything. Now, I appreciate it's been difficult because of the shutdowns in Shanghai, but I just feel like that whole process could be tightened up and they could be much more forthcoming with the information. So in terms of getting good information, I actually got more reliable information from some of the Tesla forums and I'll put a link to one of those in this video. But there's these forums where a lot of people who are waiting for their Teslas participate, and some of these people are pretty smart. I call them ship spotters, because they're like train spotters, but they spot ships, and they actually, if you give them your VIN number, they can actually tell you which ship your vehicle is on, and then you can use one of the various ship tracking applications online to find out where that ship is and track its progress. And by doing that, I had a much better idea of when my car was going to arrive than I could get from Tesla, which is kind of disappointing. However, I've been tracking it for some time. I knew it arrived a couple of weeks ago at Port Kembla. It seems like they've shipped all of the cars to their final owners that are in Sydney, and so now they're getting to deal with the regional ones. So late last week I got a call from Tesla to say, hey, we're putting your car in the hands of the freight company, who will then be responsible for putting it on a truck and bringing it to you, and that should happen from Monday. So tomorrow, it's Sunday now, tomorrow the shipping freight company will have the car. They couldn't say which day the car would arrive on, because it very much depends on how many cars and how many trucks they've got, but they said it would happen in a window of 7 days, so I expect over the next week my car will arrive sometime. They said I will get a phone call from the freight company tomorrow to give me an estimate of when it'll arrive. So fingers crossed, I'm going to see it soon, and I can't wait. Like 8 months, it's like, you can have a baby in 9 months, right? And it's just been like waiting and waiting. And I know women who say, that have had babies, and they say, oh, you get to the last month and you just want it to be over with. You're just so over waiting and all the discomfort and whatnot. And it's kind of like that with this. It seems like the closer it gets, the more kind of, agitated I get about wanting to see it and just wanting it to happen. I'm not the only one, because I can tell from the people in the forums, there's all sorts of angst out there about people wondering when their car is going to actually arrive. Must be a Tesla thing, I think. And so, yeah, anyway, good news. It's going to come next week, and as I promised, will shoot off a quick video of the actual car arriving on the back of the truck and being unloaded, and what sort of condition it arrives in. And so this will give you an idea, if you don't live in the capital cities, what to expect in terms of, the delivery process and the way the car is prepared, and what to do if there are any issues. Hopefully there won't be, fingers crossed, but there may be. So how to report those and all of that sort of thing. In case you're living out of a capital city and you're sort of thinking, well, what's it going to be like getting this car delivered? Well, that's what this video is here for. So look forward to seeing you sometime in the next 7 days to finish this one off and give you an idea of what it's like getting your Tesla out of a capital city. So I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day. Oh yeah, I just remembered one other little thing that I wanted to mention to you. This kind of knocked me off a bit, and it's something you need to know about if you are buying a Tesla and it's coming from China. When the car rolled off the production line in Shanghai, the VIN number was assigned to me, and I got a notification to say your VIN number has been assigned and you need to arrange payment for the car. Now, I thought that meant that the car was in Australia and they'd assigned a VIN number to me, and therefore I expected that the car delivery date would be imminent. The message didn't actually specify any forecast delivery date, but I was just working on my past experience with car dealers. Normally they ring you about a week before the car's going to arrive and tell you that you have to arrange payment. So not wanting the payment to hold up the whole process, I got along and made the final payment straight away. Only after that did I find out that the car had only just rolled off the production line in Shanghai, and it was sitting in their storage area waiting to go on a ship. So it then took another month for the car to actually get here. Now that means that I've put all that money into the Tesla bank account and they're earning interest on my money when it could have been in my bank account. It's not so much about the money, I just think it's a bit misleading to tell someone that their car is ready or nearly ready and that requires payment when it's just come off the production line in Shanghai. So be aware of that. If you're buying a Tesla, you're going to get this notification that your VIN number's assigned. That just means it's come off the production line. And they might say you need to make the payment. Well, maybe if you're organising finance and it's going to take you a month to get your finance sorted, then yes, you probably should get into gear and get that done. But if, like me, you're going to be paying cash, or you've already got your finance organised and it's going to be a day to get the money out, then you don't need to make that payment. They sent me subsequently, I don't know, 3, I think, reminders. They sent me one yesterday reminding me again to pay, which is annoying because I've already paid, right? So clearly their systems don't even keep track of individual payments. And you would think a technology company like Tesla could do a much better job of tracking the individual orders as they come through and as the payments come through. So a little bit disappointed with the whole Tesla customer service side of things there. And a little tip there for you, don't make your payment straight up. When your VIN numbers are signed, wait until they tell you that, hey, we've got a vehicle delivery date and it's a week away, and then obviously you need to get in and make your payment, allowing for the normal 2 or 3 days for the banks to muck around with your money and transfer it across from one bank to the other. I have to pick the car up from here. I'm at the Nissan dealer, and there it is coming in on the truck from Siva. So they couldn't drop it on my street because my street is too busy and too steep. The hill's too steep. So we agreed to drop it here at the local Nissan dealer. And it's pretty windy here, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but we'll see how we go there. So he's just pulling up over the road. He rang me about an hour ago to say that he was coming and that he'd be here about this time. So it's all looking good so far. Let's see how it shapes up when it gets off the truck. Well, doesn't that look nice? It's a beautiful pearlescent white. How you going? Good. I'm just filming this for my YouTube. I hope you don't mind. I just wanted to get a shot of it coming off.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
As long as you don't put me in there.
No. Well, you're photogenic, aren't you?
How long you waited for?
8 months. Nearly long enough to have a baby. So it's got the still got the silver badging on it, and obviously the dual motor on the back. The white interior you can see in there, and the back window, the back glass is actually lighter than I thought it was going to be. You can see the roof tint is really very dark now. I think they've made that darker on the new models. Now, I won't have a lot of time. He's going to want to get on his way, so I won't have time to check every gap and every panel. I'll just check for paint damage and do the rest at home, and I can report it. The Tesla sales guy said I could report the damage afterwards to them, and they'll make it good if there's any damage or any other defects that need fixing. They'll sort that out for me. I guess that's the difference here. If you were taking delivery in Sydney or Melbourne, they would probably let you spend plenty of time checking it over in the delivery area, but here of course everything's done on the fly. There he is, bringing it off. He obviously knows what he's doing. They didn't have to have it in towing mode because he's driving it on and off, so that's good.
All yours, Mark.
Is it good to go?
Good to go, mate.
And is the cards are in there, are they?
Yeah, mate.
The
card, the keys there.
yeah.
There, the keys.
And
there.
then I have to just ring them, don't I, to get it set up for me?
Most likely, but majority of the information is in the pack there.
Oh, okay, good.
So, yeah,
All right.
Online, I think you just log on online and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get your signature, Mark, while you're here.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll give you a signature.
Sign off for me. Dust.
I'll just have a quick squeeze
Yeah,
around.
go for it, mate. Go.
It's obviously picked up a bit of road dirt there,
Yeah, that's right, mate.
but
You can't.
just want to make sure there's no, like,
you're right,
nothing
you're right.
serious there.
No problem.
Did you leave early this morning, did you?
Oh, yeah, 3:30 in the morning.
Wow, that's pretty early.
A couple of drops in Port Mac.
In Port Macquarie?
Yeah, Port Macquarie.
Yeah.
And they bought the Model Y.
Oh yeah, the new Model Y is available now. Yeah, that's pretty exciting too.
They already had one of these, and they went to a Y model now. So wow,
Yeah.
it's really good, so they really like it.
Yeah, the Y's got the hatchback, but it wasn't available when I ordered this. It was the 3rd of January.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long wait.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, where do I sign? On here.
Just by the bottom there.
There we go.
Mark.
No worries. Have to remember how to open the door. Right, it's all mine, all mine. How exciting. Wow, check this trim out. Beautiful, isn't it? I love the white. And it's so light in here. Everything feels so light. It's fantastic. An interesting mirror. It's sort of got some anti-glare coating on it. Well, now I have to work out how to get it paired with my phone. I need to get out of the way of this guy with his truck. So I will shut this off now. I'm going to take the car back home and go over it carefully to check for damage. I just did a quick look and it seems all okay, but I'll do a more detailed look when I get home. So far so good. Interesting. All I had to do to take delivery was just to sign on his little FPOS device thing. I just put my initials on it. So yeah, I thought he'd check my ID or something, but there was no checking or anything. That was all there was to it. So anyway, it's good. I'm in the car and I got 87. It's arrived with 87% battery, so that's good. I've got plenty of charge in there, and I'm just going to take it home now and give it the once over, or maybe the twice over. Make sure that it's all good. Okay, so I've just driven home, and it was a nice drive, very quiet. It takes a bit of getting used to with the indicator on the wrong side, but that won't take too long to sort out. Lovely quiet drive. I just noticed that it was set to chill mode, so I wasn't going to fang it today on its first day anyway. They say you should give it a bit of a run-in period, and it tells me on the screen that it's still calibrating all the autopilot sensors, so that's not available at the moment. I'm just going to go and have a look in the front and see, hopefully I've got a home charger in there, because they've stopped shipping them with home chargers, but I'm hoping because my order is 8 months old that it'll still have a home charger in there. And then I'm going to go around and do a quick inspection and look for any damage. It is a bit dirty, having travelled up here on a car freighter. There's a fair bit of dust and road grime on the front of the car, so probably first task will be to wash it. But no, the first task I want to do is actually check for any damage or anything to report. I need to report that immediately back to Tesla if there's any problems with it. I thought I had a problem actually with the indicators. When I put the indicator on, it just kept turning off after 3 flashes. But I realised you've actually got to put quite a bit of pressure on the indicator stalk and push it past the point where it actually locks on. So yeah, that's unusual from my experience. Anyway, it seems to require more force than on other cars that I've driven, but I guess that's just something I'll get used to. Other than that, yeah, it drives like a dream. It's like people say, it's fairly firm on the road. The suspension, you do feel the bumps, but not too badly. Yeah, it's this one's got the bigger wheels, the 19-inch wheels. So they came standard with the car if you ordered it back when I did. Now it comes with the smaller wheels, which probably gives you a softer ride. So yeah, it's a trade-off. You get the nice looking wheels, but you get a firmer ride. But it's not so bad, as I said, to be a problem. I think the clearance is pretty low on it, so I'll probably need to be careful when I'm going over speed bumps and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not going to be an issue, I don't think. So yeah, I'm going to go out and have a look around now. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty tight in my garage. I don't think I'm going to be able to really walk right around the car and check it properly, so I'll probably drive it back out onto the driveway there and see if I can get a better look. But one thing I do notice just up off the bat, the car next to it is an old Hyundai Getz, which is, if you know Hyundai's, it's about a 15-year-old car and it's a little small hatchback. Interestingly, the Tesla appears to be actually lower than the Getz, so it's a fairly low car for a car this size. It's not a short car like the Getz is, but it's really very low slung, and you kind of notice that when you climb into it. You actually have to sink down into the seat as you come off the pavement, as opposed to the Getz, which, yeah, it's sort of just at, you know, the normal seat level when you climb into it. So I can see why some people prefer the Model Y, because you've got that little bit of extra height. But of course, your trade-off there is wind resistance. So I'll move the car out now and have a bit more of a look. As I said, I'm going to go around the car now and just check it out for gaps and whatnot, panel gaps. I haven't actually synced it with my phone yet, so I might just get the card out of the car, make sure I don't lock myself out. Okay, so close that door properly. Okay, so we'll go from the back to the front, I think. I have got a gauge to measure gaps with, but I can't find it at the moment. But I will get that and check it out. But I'm just using a pen here, you know, that's obviously got a conical shape on it, so you can sort of get an idea of how deep the pen goes into the gap. So just looking at the boot there. Yeah, it's pretty uniform, I'd say. Also noting that the tail lights are all flush with the panels, which is another area that sometimes gets mucked up. Same on this side, everything lines up properly. The charge port cover seems to be well aligned. And then we come up the boot lid and up to here, and that's pretty tight gaps on there, slightly wider down the bottom here, but pretty tight up the top there. Let's look at the other side now. So that's probably the same as the left hand side at the bottom, and yeah, it gets a bit tighter at the top. It's actually really very tight here, and at the top here of the boot lid, that gap looks to me to be probably a millimetre, or yeah, probably a millimetre wider on that side than this side, I'm thinking. Yeah, it would be. It'd be about a millimetre wider. So yeah, not a perfect fit there, but is it bad enough to report it? Probably not. I suspect if I look at all the other cars I've been driving, if I'd done this on them, I'd probably find that there's worse panel alignments on them than that. Coming to the door, you can see the grubby fingerprints on there from the delivery guy. That's why I say it needs a wash. So coming to the back door here on the right hand side, that looks like a pretty good gap, you know, I'd say probably a 5mm gap. And then when you come around to where it meets the front doors, Yeah, that's the same size gap there, I would say. Just pop around here and have a look at the other side. Yeah, that's exactly the same, I would say, on that side. And where it meets the front door, same thing there, so that's all good. Looking at the roof, yeah, that's a fairly big gap there, probably a bit more than 5 mils, I'm thinking, along the roof, but that could be normal because you don't have a gutter, so they probably allow a fair bit of space there. I'll just check on the other side, see if it's the same. Yeah, it's the same gap on both sides, so that's well fitted, no problems there. Coming into the front of the front door, yeah, that's pretty tight there, probably only a 3 mil there, I'm guessing. Let's have a look at the other side, and also where it comes down here to the mudguard. Yeah, that's maybe a 4 mil, maybe a 3 mil on the front door. Okay, let's check the other side. Yep, okay, so it's tight on this side as well. Again, probably a 3 mil on the front door there. And maybe a 4, oh no, probably a 3 mil on where the guard comes in. So slightly tighter, I think, on that side. Now the bonnet, yeah, it's probably 4 mil around there. It looks wider on the front, but I think that's because it's horizontal. Yeah, you always get that appearance of a wider gap where it goes, flattens out. But yeah, it's about the same gap, 4 mil. Okay, so it's tighter on this side. It's probably only, on the bonnet, it's probably only, I would say, about 2 mil at the top of the bonnet on the driver's side. Yeah, so again, it's not quite uniform, but then the question is it bad enough to report it? Let's have a look from a distance. And you wouldn't really know. If you look at it from a distance, you wouldn't pick the difference. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay, let's just have a general look around at the paintwork. As I said before, there's a bit of dirt on here from being on the road freighter. These things look like they could be stone chips, but they're not actually, they're just dirt, a bit of grime or mud or something. So yeah, it'll be a bit hard to tell for sure until I wash all that off. Once I wash all the dirt off, I'll be able to see if there's anything left behind that's not dirt. But I'm thinking it's probably just dirt. Coming down the side here, check the mirrors on the driver's side, that's all good. Paint looks good. Coming down the driver's side, I'm in the shade now, but once your eyes adjust, it's not too bad. It looks pretty perfect to me. No dents or anything like that. Oh, there's the grubby handprints that I mentioned before. But no, that's all clean. Okay, on the boot lid, that all looks pretty clean. On the back of the car, that's all looking pretty good. Yeah. What's this? No, that's a bit of dirt. A few specks of dirt on there as well. The glass looks good. Coming around the passenger side from the back. Yeah. Slight misalignment of the panel there, which is a little bit disappointing. It's probably a millimetre misaligned. Just check on the other side for that. Yeah, so this one's pretty perfect, but on the passenger side they're not quite coplanar, out by a millimetre. Again, am I going to worry about it? I don't think so. Paint on the passenger side doors, all looking good there. Mirrors looking good. Roof line, that's all good there. Bit of a speck there. What's that? Yeah, it's dirt. It's a bit of tar, I think, so it's a bit sticky, but it'll come off. Okay. Down here all looks pretty good. That's it. Yep. So yeah, the paint's in good condition, no scratches, and as far as I can tell, no chips. It's got the larger wheels with those nice rims. Not quite as aerodynamic, but they look good. Just check those, they're got no curb rash or anything on them. Yeah. Yeah, so those are all good. And windscreen looks good. Yep, so paint's all in good shape. Okay, so time to check the interior out. Starting on the top of the dashboard, that all looks very clean. Nice soft touch too. The this white trim here, which of course is wood grain in the other cars with the black interior, that it looks like it's risky, but I don't have kids or pets, so hopefully all these things will stay white. Speaking of which, the white upholstery looks fantastic. Just checking now to see if I can see any grimy marks. I'm thinking if there are any, they'll be from the guy that delivered it. Yeah, there's some, I shouldn't have done that. There's some dust down there and I just smudged it into the white. So I'll get the vacuum cleaner and give it a clean, but it looks pretty good, in pretty good shape. There's no really bad grimy smears on there. I'll just check the back, of course, make sure that's okay. Shouldn't be anything in here because nothing should have been in here. It looks pretty good. Yep, it's all nice and white. Floor's all nice and clean. Isn't that great? No tunnel, no transmission tunnel in the middle, so if you sit in the middle you could be quite comfy. I might try that out the back while I'm here. Oh yeah, man, plenty of room back here, plenty of leg room. Now let's move across to the middle. Yep, even in the middle you can be quite comfortable. Plenty of headroom. I mean, I'm not the tallest guy, but I'm sitting in here quite comfortably. As you can see, plenty of headroom there, and I'm quite comfortable with the legroom and no hump in the middle. So nice car to sit in. I must say the seats are very comfortable. I've heard other people say that, and it's quite true. Even the back seats are pretty comfortable. The front seats are very comfortable. So yeah, that's good. Well, now I'm going to actually pair it with my phone and do all of those logistical things so it all works properly. while I'm here, I just checked that those coat hooks work. So this one here on the left side, that works well. Right hand side works well. So that's all good. Yeah, I'll leave the other electronics and whatnot, I think, until I get the car paired and get it hooked up with the charger and whatnot. So I'll come back and finish this off after that. But so far so good. Few little panel gaps that are not perfect, but as I said, probably not bad enough to report, depending on how finicky you are. But I'm pretty comfortable with them, and yeah, it seems like a well prepared car in general. I mean, they can't help the dirt that got on there when it was travelling from Sydney to Coffs Harbour. That was always going to happen, and you know, a simple wash will get that off, so I'll do that later. But yeah, it seems to be well prepared and in good shape. Okay, well, that's just a little bit disappointing. I'm trying to pair the car with my phone to use the phone as a key, and you do that using the Tesla app on the phone, but my car isn't showing on the Tesla app, so I can't pair it. I just rang Tesla, got off the phone from them, and they said that, oh, we have to activate that and someone will call you back when it's done. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but hopefully they'll call me back soon and I can get that paired up, because it's just going to be a lot easier to not worry about carrying the key cards around with me. So yeah, I don't know how they coordinate that. I thought they would just set that up on the morning they send the car out, rather than wait until someone rings them and tells them they can't do it. But anyway, many of the little quirks of Tesla delivery processes. Let's see how we go. Okay, so I've done a good thorough check of the car now, and it's all looking pretty good, in good shape. The only defect that I found that was kind of annoying is down here on the center console. So when you lift the lid up on the center console, it rubs on the seat. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's rubbing on the passenger seat. So it's kind of like it's either the console's misaligned or the seat is. The lid seems to be aligned to the actual tunnel, so that doesn't seem to be the problem, but I don't know if the seat could be misaligned somehow. I think it's a bit of an issue though, because I think it's probably going to, well, I guess eventually it'll wear through that leather, and then it won't stick anymore, of course, but it'll be a bit unsightly on the seat. So yeah, I'm going to have to report that and see how we get that fixed. But that's a pretty minor thing, I guess, when you consider all the complexity in a car. To get one thing that's not quite how you want it is probably pretty good. So I will report that to the delivery team and see what they tell me, and I'll let you know. Okay, so there you have it. That's the end-to-end experience of ordering and taking delivery of a Tesla when you don't live in the capital cities in Australia. And, you know, apart from a few little niggles, I think the process went fairly well. I can't blame Tesla for the delays that were caused by Shanghai being shut down. That was just COVID, and the whole world's gone crazy because of COVID. So it's not just them that are struggling. It took longer than I expected, but good things come to those who wait. It's really been a remarkable car to drive just in the few days I've had it. It's by far and away the best car that I've ever driven, and the tech is simply amazing. A couple of call-outs just in summary. The first thing is, and I said this before, that don't pay your invoice as soon as they tell you the car has been assigned to you. They assign you a VIN number. They do that when it rolls off the production line, God knows why, in Shanghai, but the car's probably still going to be a month away from being actually delivered to you. So, especially if you don't live in a capital city. So when they come off the boat, they fulfill all the orders in the capital city first, and then finally the last cars that roll off are the ones that get sent to the regions. So you've got plenty of time to pay for it. The only reason you might want to start early is if you've still got to organise your finance, but I think most people would have that organised well before the car is actually built. So that's the main thing there financially. I made a few notes about other things. The build quality overall was pretty good. You know, panel alignments notwithstanding, they're out by a millimetre here and there. It's not enough to put me off the car or to want to get it fixed. I did have that problem that I mentioned with the centre console lid binding on the seat. I finished up not needing to get that fixed because I found that if you raise the seat up a bit and move it back a bit, it was a long way forward and it was very low, and when I moved it up and back a bit so it aligned with the driver's seat, the binding problem went away, so it's not really a big issue there. However, it does raise the question of, well, had that have been a problem, how would I get it fixed? Because I was told when I reported it to them that I had to raise the ticket in their system. When I went to raise the ticket, it then asked me to book it into a service centre, and the nearest one was in Brisbane. So I'm hoping that I wouldn't have had to drive to Brisbane to get that looked at. But I've since read in some of the Tesla forums that people out in the regions have had things that needed fixing, and although they have to book it in Brisbane or Sydney or wherever, they get a contact subsequent to that ticket being raised, and they usually arrange for someone local in their town to do it. So probably not a real big issue, but I can't say from experience what that would be like. I've made a few other notes here, just little things that I've discovered just in the short time I've owned it that might be of interest. So obviously when it arrives, the car is off the truck, it's subject to transport contamination, and you'll find specks of mud and bugs and stuff all over it. So it will require a clean once you take delivery. The other thing was I needed to get my account activated on the Tesla systems before I could connect my phone and use it as a key for the car. So I imagine if I'd picked it up in Sydney, they would have already done that, and they would have paired my phone with the car in the delivery centre, and I would have had everything working. But because I'm in the region, for some reason they don't like to activate the account until the car is actually signed for. And so you can't actually pair your phone, or I couldn't pair my phone right away. However, I could drive the car, so it didn't stop me from driving the car home. And once I got home, I had to ring them up and get them to activate my account. I had to wait half an hour, and then finally I could connect it. So just be aware of that. A couple of other things that I've discovered from driving it around. As you know, or probably know, the Tesla took the decision to remove radars from their cars, and so now all of the autopilot systems are reliant on cameras now. And of course that works fine in a capital city where there's plenty of lights at night, it'll still work. But what I found was when I drive along a back road in the country and there's no street lighting, the cameras keep reporting errors. So I kept getting these errors flashing up on the screen saying that the camera was blinded and it was dirty and I needed to clean it or whatever. That worried me because I thought there was a problem, but then I subsequently found from the forums that that's normal. So you don't need to worry about that. It's just going to happen if you're in the country and you're out on a black road at night. You're going to get these error messages and you just ignore them. In Australia, so you'll see some people on YouTube in America and they have their Sentry system working when they've parked the car, which is a great system. It takes feeds from all of the cameras on the car, and you can capture any event that occurs sort of, in the 10 minutes before an event. It'll save the film, so you can, if someone comes along and vandalizes your car, for example, it'll be caught on the cameras and you'll have that to take to the police. But also in America, I've seen people looking at the camera images from their phone in real time, and I couldn't seem to do that, and it turns out you can't do it in Australia. It's not an option in Australia, and apparently it's due to the network charges in Australia being too high, so Tesla just don't transmit those images over the air. So that was a little disappointing, but it's no big deal. The other feature that's missing is, you might have heard of Boombox. So in America, they have they're required by law actually to have a sound that alerts pedestrians when you're approaching, because the car's so quiet pedestrians can't hear it. So over there they have a speaker that's external on the car that plays whatever sound you choose on the car, so that the pedestrians can hear you, and they call that Boombox. we don't have an equivalent law here in Australia, and so Tesla don't fit that speaker to the car, so you won't find that speaker or that feature in the car. So if you're looking for it, that's why you can't find it. I think that's probably all you need to know for now, or all that I've learned, but there's probably going to be other things I'll learn along the way. It's a very high-tech car, and I'm still, trying to learn all the different features of the car. They've offered me a tutorial session on Microsoft Teams, which I booked in for about a week from now. And so they run these regularly for people, new Tesla buyers, so they can go through all the tech side of the car and explain to you how to use it. So I think that's a really good idea, and I'm looking forward to attending that so I can learn a bit more about this car. So there you have it. That's it. If you've got any questions, post them in the comments section, and I'll try and answer them for you if I can. And if you're choosing to buy a Tesla, well, I'd get in quick because there's a long wait for them. And if you are outside of a capital city, you don't need to worry. It's just a fairly straightforward process, and you will get your car, and it's in reasonably good shape when you get it. It just needs a bit of a wash, and that's about it. And that's it for me. I'm going to go off and enjoy my new purchase. So if you've lasted this long, thank you for watching, and have a great day.